morning. I got into camp fairly early yesterday, but I was still not feeling up to par, and my only other choice was to go about 5 or 6 more miles to put me in a better position to get to Upper Goose Pond today, which is the next shelter after these coming up. There are 2 side by side, just like that Glenbrook and Hemlock. But if I would have done that, that would have had me doing 20 yesterday. So this today, if I go to Upper Goose Pond, and I'll have to break the rules if I don't, it's going to be 21 point something. It's half a mile off of the trail, so that's an extra half mile on top of that. I left about 5:30. It was still darkish. It's getting harder and harder to leave early. Number 1, because it's getting light later, and number 2, there are just lots of treacherous rocks. And to add insult to injury, we had some really bad storms last night with thunder and lightning and heavy rain. I didn't sleep well. Woke up off and on. I'm now reading on my phone, and when I wake up and can't get back to sleep, that's what I do. I read. So I'm using more battery on my phone, and that's what I've been afraid of. Anyway, the rain makes the rocks very slippery, and I have been blessed in that there have been some flat and smooth sections of the trail, but there have been some really rocky sections of the trail also, and steep and slippery. The trail itself has been beautiful, lush and green with a thick canopy, large healthy trees. It's been really good to see, and I've enjoyed that part of it. Also, the views that we're getting, we're starting to see layers of mountains, kind of like the Smokies, and I always think that's really beautiful to see those layers. So today I got about 22 ahead of me. I think those honey buns I'm eating in the morning might be making a difference, and I've been taking, after I fill my bottle for the day with what water I've collected, I've been taking what's left and putting my electrolytes in there, so I'm drinking really concentrated electrolyte water first thing before I go to my regular water, and that system seems to be working for me so far. I am feeling better than I felt yesterday before I called Bud and he prayed for me, but I still don't feel oh man, the mosquitoes, they come in waves in different parts where it's a lower elevation or boggy. It just gets really bad, and it's not just mosquitoes, it's these other, I don't know what they are. They're not a fly, they're not a bee, some other stinging bug. My feet and legs have been feeling better. I don't know if it was the Nero and Zero I took or what, but I'm grateful for that. Not saying they don't hurt, they're just not really ever present on my mind. And I see some kind of bog or lake or boggy lake coming up, and that's why the mosquitoes have ramped up. Then I got these gnats that kamikaze into my eye. Sometimes they're really hard to get out. So I think there were some other things I wanted to say, but I guess that's it for now. I gotta be all business today and stay focused to get all these miles in, preferably as early as possible. I don't know if you can see this boggy lake. I don't know if I'll get a better view. So for now, this is Rebound, signing out. I don't know. Don't ask me. I have no clue. Well, things are going pretty well today. I think I have done about 12 miles. It's about noon. I just stopped for about 15 or 20 minutes at a little snack shack that is run on the honor system. I got a Coke, some sour cream and onion potato chips to go with my roll-up. Ate my lunch there. And I also got some peanut M&Ms to go. And I think I have about 8 more miles to go. And so far, it really hasn't been too bad. I've had a lot of flat walking, an amazing amount of flat walking. There have been some inclines, but they have not been too bad, and there haven't been, well, there was only a few rock scrambles right at the very beginning, and then none since then. So I might just make it at a decent time. I'm thinking maybe between 3:30 and 4. We'll see. And it is hot today, but it's been hotter. We did have a breeze earlier, but it's gone. And I guess that's it for now. They just threw in a nasty, sharp incline climb. It wore me out and it slowed me down. I've got about 6 miles to go. Wait, is it 6 or 6.9 or 6.3, something like that? It's 12:30. It's about 1:30 and I have 3.9 miles to go. And to clarify, this is trail miles to go. Then I'll have 0.5 to get to the cabin. I was really dreading today because I knew it was going to be long and tiring and huge. But it really hasn't been as bad as I was expecting, mostly because of the flat trail we had for so much of for a good portion of the day. But after that snack shack, we had that big climb, and then there have been rocks and puds, and those things have really taken the wind out of my sails. My feet and legs are hurting, and I'm tired. I bought those peanut M&Ms and at the Snack Shack, and I have not bought candy in over 10 years, maybe much longer than that. But I thought I could use the calories at this point, since I seem to be improving by adding those honey buns to my breakfast. I thought, well, since this is a big day, I'll get those M&Ms. But they really don't taste like I remember them tasting. I used to love to eat the candy coating and then suck off the chocolate and eat the peanut last, and the peanut had such a good flavor. Not anymore. Even the chocolate doesn't taste the same. But it gave me some calories. I didn't eat them all. I might pull them out. I think I mentioned it's 2. I've got about 3.5 more miles. They really seem to be plodding along now. But my tent is saturated, so I'm thinking when I get there, I'll set up my tent and let it be drying, and then I'm going to get into that pond. My recollection is that it's so clear you can see the bottom. And I think last time I hung on to the ladder at the dock. I don't like to put my feet down on the bottom of a lake, but it submerged me and made me feel clean, so that's probably what I'll do again. I have finally reached the side trail to the Upper Goose Pond and Cabin. It is a half a mile, and I am dead. Absolutely dead. My feet and legs hurt, and I'm exhausted. And I will have to tell you exactly how many miles I did today later, after I pull out my pen and paper. Hello, I did 21.3 miles today, plus that half mile to the cabin. There were no tent sites behind the cabin, so I came back a ways to another campsite I saw on the way to the cabin. The reason I didn't want to stay in the cabin is that there is no airflow in there, and it was warm. There's no electricity. And my recollection was that there weren't even any windows to open. I did go take a dip in the pond, and that was very refreshing. I thought I would feel dirty because there were leaves at the bottom of the pond. It had a sand bottom, and up close to the dock, it was sand on the bottom, and if you went out too far, then there were more leaves, but there were still little leaf pieces in the water. But the water was warm, and it felt good, and I feel refreshed for having done it, and I'm glad I did. I went in my clothes, and they are wet, and I don't think they're gonna dry. But they'll dry on me tomorrow. Not looking forward to tomorrow either. I think I've got about 17. I'm not sure about the shelter I am headed for, because it doesn't show that there is tenting there. And that is the one right before Dalton, where I will pick up my box the next day, and it's only a few miles into Dalton. So I got some planning to do. I need to look at it and see what happens, but that's the tentative plan for now. I'm very tired. I don't like doing 20s, but I guess the 20 made up for the 12.5 I did out of Salisbury. I just having to go shelter to shelter or campsite to campsite is very frustrating. It really limits you or pushes you beyond your comfort zone, and I will be glad to get out of Massachusetts for that reason. I think we're expecting some rain again tonight. I really hope that it doesn't, and I hope that it is a mild storm. Last night's was pretty violent with lots of thunder and lightning and heavy rain, and there's a questionable tree beside this platform. I'm not really set up to set my tent up on platforms. I need to figure out something right now. The corners are held with heavy rocks, and the front and back ends have the fly staked out in between the planks, and it's complicated. There will be a lot more platforms as I go further north, so I need to figure something out. So, until next time, this is Rebound, signing out.